and welcome to Big Bore Knife and Gear. Today we're going to talk about a knife on loan to me from my buddy Kyle Lamphere. I'll leave his links down below in the description for both YouTube and Instagram. This one is the Kizer Sovereign. This knife has been discontinued. Let's get some specs on this and then we'll get right into it. Overall length on this guy is 8.3 inches. It's got a handle length of 4.8 inches, blade length of 3.5 inches. Blade thickness on this is 0.125. Blade steel is CPMS 35VN. Blade style is Tanto. The finish on the blade is a nice stone wash. This is a tip up right or left hand carry only. Obviously it's a flipper. Does have a nice frame lock design to it. No steel insert on this one. The handle and clip and back spacer, titanium. This thing comes in at 5.6 ounces, and this has what's called a filigree design on it. So let's start with the handle. This is beautifully milled. Let's see if we can get this to catch that. Titanium scales. This pattern is known as filigree. It feels great in hand. It looks fantastic. I don't know if I said this, but this knife is discontinued. It is available on the secondary market still. But just look at that. Look at that beautiful filigree design on those scales. They did a fantastic job on this. All the hardware, except for the pocket clip screw, is pretty much recessed down in. If you can see that, there's only a little bit of it that sticks up past the flattened part of the scale, but it pretty much lines up with the milling that was left from removing the material, so it's basically flush with the rest of it. It's got a pretty interesting looking pivot. Just a beauty. So this thing, I've had in pocket for a week or so. Let me get into all the positives and then the one negative on this knife. So action. I'm going to start laughing because it's fantastic. Sorry guys, I get so happy like a little kid when I get these knives in my hands, especially when the action's so good. Flipper tab is got some jimping on it, but here we go. Let's do that one more time. Super sweet action, buttery smooth. The blade design on this, again, Tanto, it does have a fuller with the drilled holes in it, which very reminiscent of a like a Todd Begg style. Billboarding on here, just the Kizer logo, S35VN, and then the model of the knife, which is KI4431T for Tanto. This did come with a drop point version as well. The Tanto on this does have this nice, I don't want to call it a compound grind, but it's kind of like a compound grind. Beautifully done. Bevel's pretty fantastic, with the exclusion of just on the very tip on one side, it was ground slightly more than the other, which if we can get it to focus, you can see there, but no big deal. The scales rounded pretty good. This beautiful harpoon style swedge on the top of the blade is done very nicely. The finger choil on here, for me, the finger choil on this is probably the best that's been in my hand. If you can see, the finger choil is not only spacious enough for big fat fingers like mine, but it has been completely crowned around. completely rounded, extremely comfortable. The placement of the harpoon swedge, where it starts in comparison to the rest of the knife where your hand falls in, is perfect for my size hand. It just lines up perfectly. The ergos on this are fantastic, with one exception, which we'll get to here shortly. Whether you're choked up, standard grip, choked up, finger out for fine work, this thing is fantastic. Now, let's get into the one bad thing. The clip. Even though the clip and the backspacer have been anodized from factory like this in this blue color, the scales are anoded in like a bronze gold. The whole knife is fantastic except for this clip. It functions very well in and out of pocket, but let me turn this to the side and show you why this clip is horrible. You guys, I'm sure, have all heard the term hotspot. Well, this is hotspot central. Look at that clip. That thing sticks up to a point damn near a ½ an inch tall. So when this is in hand, as you can see, it digs into the palm of your hand something horrible. This is not my knife. If it was, I would take that clip off and I would actually bend that down or hammer it down, modify it somehow, because for such a fantastic knife, Kizer really crapped the bed on this clip. I don't know how much nicer to say it. It's horribly bad. If you're doing just some very light cutting a piece of paper or opening a package, it's no big deal because you've got a loose grip in your hand when you're doing that. But if you're cutting up a piece of cardboard or really trying to stabilize this in your hand to do any sort of work, it is horribly bad. I mean, look, just in the 30 seconds it was in my hand, it's already dug into me pretty good. Other than that, this knife is actually very nice. Super sharp. Great blade steel. The action on it is just incredible. Pretty much, I don't know what you'd want to call the technical term for this. It's like hydraulically drop shutty, and it's fantastic. The detent is done extremely well. I have yet to fail this blade, and I just tried, so there you go. If you are doing this just to prove a point until it breaks, that's about the only way it fails. With any other amount of pressure, it pops and goes. It is fantastic. So let me know what you guys think. This is the Kizer Sovereign. I own a few Kizer knives. They've all been fantastic as far as action, fit, and finish, which, by the way, blade centering is spot on. This thing is just phenomenal, again, except for the pocket clip design, which the overall shape is perfectly fine, except for this upswept, sharp, pointy tip here. I don't know why they did that. They took a fantastic design, a beautiful knife, and just, well, I'm going to say it, kids, cover your ears. They really just shit the bed on that clip. Anyhow, that's all I got for today, folks. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment because I love the feedback. And until next time, take care.